name is Colum McCann. I'm coming to you from New York. I'm an Irish writer, coming to you on Europe Day, and I'm going to read to you from Let the Great World Spin, which is a book of mine that was published in Slovenian about 7 or 8 years ago. I'm delighted to be asked. Obviously, on the forefront of all of our minds is everything that's going on in Ukraine, and all of us tied together, thinking about in what sense we can find solace from the great despair that's going on around us, and perhaps one of the ways that we can do so is through literature and through the stories and telling the stories of others. And I'm going to begin with this reading, which takes place in New York in 1974, when Philippe Petit, the French tightrope walker, is doing a walk across the World Trade Center towers, between the World Trade Center towers, in sort of an eerie echo of 9/11. But instead of it being an act of destruction, it is, through his art, an act of creation. And this is from the first chapter. Way above there was a movement. In his dark clothing, his every twitch counted. He folded over, a half thing bent, as if examining his shoes, like a pencil mark, most of which had been erased. The posture of a diver. And then they saw it. The watchers stood silent. Even those who had wanted the man to jump felt the air knocked out. They drew back and moaned. A body was sailing through the middle of the air. He was gone. He'd done it. Some blessed themselves, closed their eyes, waited for the thump. The body twirled and caught and flipped, thrown around by the wind. Then a shout sounded across the watchers. A woman's voice, "God, oh God, it's a shirt, it's just a shirt." It was falling, 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 yes, a sweatshirt fluttering. And then their eyes left the clothing in midair, because high above the man had unfolded from his crouch. And a new hush settled over the cops above and the watchers below, a rush of emotion rippling amongst them, because the man had arisen from the bend, holding a long thin bar in his hands, jiggling it, testing its weight, bobbing it up and down in the air, a long black bar, so pliable that the ends swayed. And his gaze was fixed on the far tower, still wrapped in scaffolding, like a wounded thing waiting to be reached. And now the cable at his feet made sense to everyone. And whatever else it was, there would be no chance that they could pull away now. No morning coffee, no conference room cigarette, no nonchalant carpet shuffle. The waiting had been made magical. And they watched as he lifted one dark, slippered foot like a man about to enter warm grey water. The watchers below pulled in their breath all at once. The air felt suddenly shared. The man above was a word they seemed to know, though they had not heard it before. Out he went. That's from Let the Great World Spin.